Thank you, judges. Thank you for coming back from your break. Well earned. Kelly, welcome. Adam, hello. Thank you. You can't hear me? Declan, they just need to be able to hear me a little bit more. Yep. Thank you very much. Is that better? Lovely. All right. So we are now judging the pet and animal category at the 2019 AIPP Epson Queensland Professional Photography Awards. My name is Robin Hills. I'm your panel chair for this category, and I'm being very ably assisted by Claire Pinder. And this category is intended for images of domesticated pets, farm animals, and captive zoo animals. Pet animal photography is broadly defined and can include studio portraiture, documentary, corporate and travel work, creative and illustrative portraits. The animal should be the primary subject of an image entered into this category, even where it includes one or more people, and shows the animal/animals relating to or interacting with them. If it could be interpreted that a person is the primary subject, the image may be better suited to another category. The pet animal category will be judged in two sections: pet and animal open, and then pet and animal single capture. The category is judged in two sections to assist the judges in their assessment. However, there is only one award. Entries in this category may be commissioned or self-commissioned. Images must include an actual animal within the work. The pet/animal must be discernible as such, even if the whole animal is not depicted. Polytips, diptychs, triptychs are permitted in both sections. Print and animal open. Entrants may utilise all post-production techniques, including multiple images or elements in producing their entry. And in the single capture, this section is intended to reward technical and creative excellence in photographing and presenting an authentic representation of a scene without the benefit of creative compositing techniques. Now, my judges on this panel are Cam Attry, Colleen Harris, Roxanne Gorman, Kelly Tunney, Adam Hourigan, and we have Hilary Warder and Francis Suter will be joining us shortly. We're going to keep rotating you all to keep everything fresh and happening, because we're a happening place here. And thank you, Epson, for your sponsorship of our total weekend. We really appreciate it. And could we have the first print, please? And judges, we need prompt decision making, and we're going to save time for fabulous conversation and debate. So promptly enter the scores and we'll get underway. Thank you. Thank you. We have an average score of 83, silver award. And Cam, can we get a comment from you, please?
What a cute little guy. Really well captured. The flow of the frond that the frog is sitting on works really, really nicely. Extremely sharp. It's felt for me going up any higher than that, maybe if the author looked at just tonally adding a little bit more contrast and a little bit more depth to the lighting would have helped. But overall, it's a brilliant image.
Thank you very much. And next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 73. And could we have Adams making a comment?
Yeah, look, a good setup here, but we need to look at some of the technical aspects, maybe straightening the image. The lean is very noticeable and distracting, and also the brightness on the objects on the right distracts us away from what we really want to look at into that suitcase. So just some technical work.
Thank you very much. And next print, please. By majority, we have a score of 79. And yes, Roxanne can challenge. Roxanne is on 84. And the reason I announced by majority score is the actual average is 80, but as it's a team decision, there were 3 people in the score range of 70. So, Roxanne?
There's a beautiful subtlety to this, and what a soulful little creature that's been beautifully captured. I'm loving hearing that I'm not alone, because I really think that this image is truly worthy of a silver image. There's an expression on his face that is beyond professional standard. It's been studied. The photographer, I can see, has stopped and waited, and there's a real connection that has been achieved with this.
Thank you. And can we hear from Kelly, please, on 76?
Yeah, I just had to sort of, I think in terms of the communication, there's no context. I would have liked a little bit more sort of, where is this animal, rather than just it's not quite just a cute expression, and it's a little bit tight in its cropping. The tones are quite lovely, but I think it just needed a little bit more context to what else is going on, where is this animal, that kind of thing.
Thank you. And back to you, Roxanne.
I'm sort of okay with not knowing where he is, or he or she. By the very nature of the category, we know that this is pet or captured animal or in a zoo. So for me, the image was really speaking as to why there was this sad expression, and working on the basis within the category as to how and where that animal would have been captured. I think that the photographer's really successfully found and communicated an essence, and the face is beautifully sharp and I think very expressive, and I really do believe that this is very worthy of a solid silver.
Thank you. The current majority score is 79. Roxanne's score of 84 is locked in. Judges, please rescore now. And it goes to 81, silver award. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have a silver award, 83. And Cam, a comment from you, please.
Yeah, I think the balance here is what really works for this image, and not only in colour tone but also just in the composition, and I think it just works really well and well deserved a silver.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. This photo scores 73. And Colleen, could we have a comment from you?
It's a lovely image or portrait of a horse. For me, I'm finding that the focus seems to be more on the muzzle rather. I want the focus to be on the eye, and am finding the hair a little bit too bright for my liking. I believe that this horse has amazingly white hair, but I'd love to see a little bit more tone coming through their hair.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 75. Could we have Adam? A challenge? Yes, thank you. Adam is on 81.
We might just see if we can get a few more points for it, because I think the expression here and the calmness is what's worth rewarding, that lifts it. You know, the skill involved in posing the animal here lifts it into a higher standard of professional practice than where we may otherwise be. I'm still only asking for a low silver because there are technical issues that I think we all see the brightness on the right-hand side of the book, and I lose that left hand. But I'm just drawn so much to those eyes still, even though those technical issues are there. It's well styled. It's above well styled. It's exceptionally well styled, and it's exceptionally well posed. And I think it's worth even pushing. And if we're not pushing into low silver, even to a higher standard of professional, acknowledge the higher standard of professional practice here.
Thank you. Could I hear from Roxanne?
Sure. I'm struggling in getting into the silver range for a variety of reasons. I found the highlights on the book really dominated any character that I saw coming through from the animal. I'm understanding what you're saying with regards to expression. There's the fact that the eyes aren't centered within the glasses, that may be a minor thing. And yes, the acknowledgement with regards to the setup and the staging of this in particular. But I think I'd need to really hear a bit more to bring me up into a silver award range. I think that conceptually, there's a beautiful story looking to be told. I'm not sure if it's delivered on what needed to be delivered there.
Thank you. Unless there's any other judges, back to you, Adam.
Look, I do acknowledge that it's a technical. I think the glasses kind of represents that droop that's within the whole image. You know, and that's the styling again. I think that matches that expression that we've gone through. So, you know, I think there's a little bit more than just standard professional practice here. I would ask for low silver, or even just see if we can give it a few more points to recognise what has been done very well in this frame.
Thank you. Adam's score of 81 is locked in. The current average score is 75. Judges, please rescore now. And you got your request. It's now at 77. Thank you, judges. Next print, please. Thank you. We have a silver award, 80. Thank you. And we're going to keep our judges rotating. Thank you, Kelly and Colleen. If we can have Hilary and Francis join us. Thank you very much. Oh, sorry. Did someone comment? No, we didn't comment. Could we please have, thanks, Cam.
Great decisive moment and beautifully lit as well. I think to take it even further, you might want to look at just cropping, taking it out of the central part of the image and putting it off to the side a little bit more. And the inclusion of the object which it's jumping for is really, really important to take this higher. You can see the dog's eyes focused intently on some sort of object, a ball or a frisbee or something, and to include that in the image would have taken it higher.
One of the other judges is nodding in agreement. So there you are. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have a silver with distinction, 85. Francis, a comment from you for the photographer?
Here we go. Yes, look, it's first of all stunning how it's crafted. It's very, very well done. All the little details are absolutely amazing. Now, in terms of the story in there is so much to see and so much to tell, and I think each of us probably will come up with a different story. Yeah, just very, very well done. Congratulations to the photographer.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 74. And Adam is just going to make a comment. Yes, thank you, Adam.
Yeah, look, in the environment where you're asked, we're trying to capture it, we've waited for a good expression and there's good overall tone. There's perhaps just a lack of impact or something that takes us into that next level above just a standard professional capture of what we've seen. So.
Thank you very much. And next print, please. Thank you. We have a silver award, 82. And Roxanne would like to challenge that. Roxanne, oh, sorry. I get to choose who goes, actually. Roxanne's on 87. Francis is also on 87, is what they're excited about. Adam's 84, and you've got 276s.
Francis nearly took me down going for the mic there. There is so much to love about this print. Sorry, Hillary, can I just trouble you over for a moment? There's just, it's so. It's an overused phrase, but it is so beautifully captured. There's also the symmetry was the first thing, and I'm a sucker for symmetry every time. And also the almost invisible waterline that doesn't give you that immediate sense of context. And then the expressiveness of this little guy who's just looking straight down the barrel of the camera, and it's just giving you so much. There's a lovely, gentle palette that's there. I really do believe that it deserves to be well rewarded.
Thank you. Could we hear from Hillary on 76?
Yes, I thought he or she's little expression is quite sweet, and that's what I want to focus on. I don't want to focus on all the other stuff. It's confusing, and so I don't think we need a flip. Well, not a flip, but you know what I mean. But the reflection, I don't think we need that, because I really want to concentrate on that such sweet little expression.
Adam on 84.
Look, I'm hovering right on that precipice of silver distinction too, because what I thought what was exceptionally well presented, and what's to address what you said, Hillary, about the reflection. I think it's that invisible waterline. Actually, it almost looks like it's levitating sort of on that, and that's what gives us that idea that it's not on something. It's just sort of hovering there. Everything's complementary to the main subject, and even often we lose the depth with such a shallow depth of field, but we've still got all the little fingers and little hands and little details that are quite sharp that you want to see. So it's been really, really well handled, in something that could be easily overlooked. So I think I can come up.
Thank you. Francis, something to add?
Yeah, just agree with everything. I just want to add the reflection is very important there, because this little creature, look, it's just so cute, and it knows it, and it's the mirror. And look at the extra bonus of the little fingernails that are like little jelly beans, delicately groomed, and it nearly looks like they've been painted. It's just fabulous. It just rounds it all up.
Thank you. Back to you, Roxy.
Again, symmetry. But for me, what that did was it produced almost initially a bold graphic nature, and then when you step up to the print, you're so richly rewarded with this little guy staring back down the barrel at you. Every detail is so gloriously sharp, and I think it's a stunning capture, and I think that it deserves a silver distinction. Come on.
Okay, so Roxy's score of 87 is locked in. The current average score is 82. Judges, please rescore now. Okay, did you put your scores in? Yep. Can we just have a blank screen, please? And can we have a techie person? Our screen just hasn't updated here. And so that provides us with a wonderful opportunity to thank our sponsor of Epson, and our sponsor for this category is Brilliant Prints. So thank you so much for your work. Has anyone used their services? I'm getting some nods in the room, and you can vouch that they do a great job of looking after your photography needs.
I work for the Daily Examiner newspaper, like a regional daily down there, based in Grafton. I've been there for just on 20.
You've created.
Probably the most well-known one was a caravan in front of a cane fire locally. We have a very famous caravan just outside of Yamba that all the wedding couples, and I ended up photographing it one day to use as a wedding composite. But while I was doing so, the old bloke who owned the cane farm walked past with his lit thing, and I said, "Hey, mate, can you just look up?" And he looked up, and I took a photo, and It won me a Walkley in 2014, so that was a nice little bonus.
Congratulations. Well done. Nice work. So hand the microphone over to Francis, please. And Francis, tell us where you're from
I
and
am
what you
from
do.
Brisbane, and I photograph families' weddings, and I have a studio here in Brisbane, in Coorparoo.
Thank you. And
And
tell us about when you won the landscape category.
I do like to travel. I love landscape as well. I have a very strong passion for landscape, all sorts of landscape, and
What was the series of when you won Queensland Landscape
Oh, very
Photographer
different.
of the Year?
very different pieces actually. So yeah, I was just trying to create something very different with different pieces from very different places,
Lovely.
different feels.
Thank you, and thank you for filling in our gap. We're not ignoring the rest of you, but we're back online. So if we could have the beautiful photograph back, please, from the print handlers. Thank you. And all the scores were locked in before the glitch went down, so they are now appearing on my screen. And previously the score was, excuse me, audience. Leslie. Thank you. The previous score for this photo was 82, and it has now scored 85, which is silver with distinction. Thank you, and sorry for the delay. It was worth the wait. And next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 74. And if we could have a comment from Hillary, thank you.
Hello. I would get the photographer to have a look at a fellow called Tim Flash, who does this sort of animal work, and he's a British photographer, and he creates such beautiful images of animals, and I think that the photographer will benefit from viewing how that person uses light and cropping and separating from the background to the foreground.
Thank you. A brief comment from Roxy.
Just to quickly add to that, I felt that for this little particular character, he sat a little bit low in the frame in terms of cropping, and what was in the background dominated what you're looking at in the foreground. So just to consider.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 82, silver award. And Adam, to make a comment.
Yeah, look, an exceptionally handled print. The detail that's being held in these blacks and the lighting really enhances it. I think what takes it to the next level then is working on that expression. I find that's the flattest part of the image for me, and that something with this handling, with that expression lifted, would really lift it again.
Thank you very much. And we have some judge changes. So Adam, Cam, and Roxy. Can we have Colleen, Mark, and Kelly? Thank you. And next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 64. And could I get Kelly to make a comment, please?
Yeah, unfortunately, the main subject is completely out of focus, and the car has more focus than the cute little puppy. And yeah, just in terms of size and things like that, there's quite a few things going wrong in that image that, yeah, probably can't be fixed for this particular shot unless you re-shot it from scratch, perhaps.
Okay. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 77. Hillary, could we have a comment, please?
Whoop. Yeah, you know, the expression, the pose, and the light in this is actually quite beautiful. I think that the photographer needs to put the horse a bit higher in the frame so that we can actually see the bottom of its belly, possibly even a full length. You see the feet as well. I don't know. It's an unfortunate crop.
Would it be better with that bridle too?
Thank you very much. And next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 77. And Hillary would like to challenge. Hillary's on 84. You've got an 83, two 74s, and a 72.
Hello, I gave it 84. For the monkey's expression, he or she, sorry, it's like he's given up. I don't know. That's how I see it. And the somber tones in the background sort of reflect his demeanour. He's a captive animal, would like to be elsewhere, I think. So I thought that the expression captured got me into silver.
Thank you. Mark, could we hear from you, 74?
The expression, yes. The expression is so good that it almost mimics a hunched old man, sort of who's, you know, just given up on things and got that distant, vacant look on the face. The disconnect I have with associating with the animal or the monkey is basically we want to see an arm in the foreground there, that big patch of black, even just a little bit of definition between, there must be a limb there somewhere.
Thank you. And Colleen on 83.
Agree with Mark and Hillary in regards to the expression on the monkey, and now that Mark's pointed out the blackness at where the arm should be or could be there. For me, now that you've actually mentioned it, I'm not sure whether it's a printing issue or whether the monkey does actually have no arm. Is that a possibility? We don't know. That could be the reason why they're sad. For me, I love the bokeh in the background. The way that it separates the monkey is fantastic. The golden hint on the chin, the detail in the eye, you can get this beautiful warmth in their eyes. I think it's an image that's deserving an award print. So come on up.
Thank you. Back to you, Hilary.
Well, I think you can think of black as in, his expression. It's the whole thing is quite sad, and I feel for this monkey. I really do. And I thank you, Colleen. I never know how to say bokeh before. I didn't realise it was bokeh. So, but anyway, no, seriously though. But I just think it's. He's defeated. He or she is defeated, and the expression says it all.
Thank you. Hilary's score of 84 is locked in. The current average score is 77. Judges, please rescore now. And we have 80, silver award. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 84. And is that, I've got my hand up in the air, I'd like to challenge? Yes. Thank you, Mark. Mark is on 92. We're going to have some nice conversation here. 87, 84, 80 and 76. Descending down the line. So
Oh yeah, this is the super chilled frog. It's like a sloth frog. Just hanging out with the slits of the black there. I mean, all right, we've got a great expression from a frog, if you can get a great expression from a frog. But just the construct of the image with the leaf plant, whatever is hanging off there, and the tonal shift from the warm up to the light and green, and then also the tones that are brought in the background to bring everything back to that frog's expression, the face and everything else. And also the lighting is beautiful, which I might say something slightly controversial here, which I think is shot in a studio, given the reflection in the eyes of the light panels.
all right. Well, we
But
don't know
that's
that.
nothing to distract it from, but it is beautifully constructed and set up, because you're still dealing with a frog that just has the most amazing chilled out expression, like he's just taken something and just chilling out on that leaf. And for that, it's the innovative approach to this and that particular animal that I think has pushed it into gold for me.
Right. Over to you, Kelly, on 76.
Yeah, chalk and cheese. I found there's a little bit of finessing around the slothy, goopy bits that you mentioned around the, what do you call them? Feet? Tentacles? Frog don't have tentacles. I don't know, yeah. That struck me first when I had a look at it the first time. The second time, just a little bit of an imbalance with the bottom left cropping that's terribly tight, sort of triangly square. The triangle in the bottom left-hand corner to me just has this imbalance. It's just not quite sitting right for a flow. I would have liked to have probably either given it a bit more space out just for consistency and compositionally. I think it's a little bit full, if that makes sense. That's why I gave it 76.
Thank you. Hilary on 87.
Yeah, I gave it 87. I think he's hungover, actually. He's in a hammock. And just his pose, actually, he's exhausted. But I'm so glad that you gave it gold, because I want to give it gold. And I just think that the tentacly feety things are out of focus because of the depth of focus, I guess. But and I just think the colour palette is beautiful, and it's thank you for challenging Mark.
Thank you. So back to you, Mark.
I think possibly what you might be referring to is because in the bottom right-hand side corner of the image, underneath his feet or under his feet, I think we're seeing some of the texture of the plant that he's actually resting on, which I was looking at. Is that the print breaking down? But I think it actually is the texture of the plant coming through, giving us the imprint. The triangle on the left, in the lower left corner, I think is a balance and sort of gives it a stopping point, framing that edge of the leaf or plant that he's on, and sort of brings it back to give him, and he's sort of so chilled that, you know, you almost expect him, he's going to slide down to that corner as well. So that's, and again, it's that innovative nature of the image that put it into gold.
Thank you. Mark's score of 92 is locked in. The current average is 84. Judges, please rescore now. And we have a silver with distinction at 88. Thank you, judges. Good teamwork. Next print, please. And while the judges are putting in their scores, thank you, Brilliant Prints, for sponsoring this category. They've been a great sponsor and supporter of the AIPP and our awards. Thank you. And we have an average score of 84, silver award. Thank you. And could we please get a comment from Francis?
Yes. This is a beautifully crafted action shot of a pet, of a dog in the golden hours of the day. What I particularly like is the focus on his face, on his mouth, but also his posture, his pose. And then if you look at his eyes, he's actually got blue brownish eyes, which really brings back that colour from the background back into his face, which I think is absolutely gorgeous. So it's not just a reflection of the colours in the water, it's actually the colours of his eyes. So I just think it's beautifully crafted and very well done.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 74. And could I get, Adam, you want to make a comment?
I think the first part is the dog just looks a little uncomfortable within the frame. There's not and whether that's a deliberate thing or not, I'm not sure. But there's just a heavy contrast that I'm losing the detail, and that really wants me to show into that dog, into its expression, and I'm just losing in the print at the moment.
Thank you very much. And thank you, judges. That is the end of that category. We are going to have a 15-minute break. Or actually, 15 minutes. So please be back here at 12:40. And it is lunchtime. The next category we will be judging in here is the portrait category. So please check if you're a judge required in this room. Thank you to Brilliant Prints for your support, and also to Epson for sponsoring the weekend. See you back shortly. is intended to reward technical and creative excellence in photographing and presenting an authentic representation of a scene without the benefit of creative compositing techniques. Thank you very much. And on our team to start with, we have Mark Duffus, Kelly Tunney, Colleen Harris, Roxanne Gorman, and Adam Hourigan. And rotating shortly will be Cam Attry, Francis Suter, and Hilary Warder. And I'm Robin Hills, and I'm being assisted by Claire Pinder. And the sponsor for this category is Brilliant Prints. And may we first have the first print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 71. And could we get a comment from Roxanne on 71? Some feedback for the entrant?
Sorry, it's struggling with my microphone. I think there's a bit of a missed opportunity with this particular image. There are also a number of technical images that the photographer may want to consider with regards to the tunnel edge, the poor little puppy who I think is quite gorgeous but really just fades off into the background. The first thing that we're seeing is that the focal point of this image is the truck and the little puppy dog gets lost.
Thank you. Next print, please. Blank screen, please. And okay, were you able to enter your scores? No. So we need a techie, please, because we've got two judges that are unable to enter their scores. So do you want to make a mental note and write down the score that you intended to put in? I've got Mark's. I just haven't got Kelly's. And I have your score as well now. Nope, all good. So can we have the print back, please? Thank you very much. And we have an average score of 82. And we have a challenge from Colleen on 88. So you've got an 84, two 82s, and a 73. So we're going to have some interesting discussion. Thanks, Colleen.
No worries. The first thing that struck me about this image was the blue in the cat's eyes. It drew me straight into the image, and that's when I started to look around. I've noticed that the child has a skin condition where the pigment is missing, and then I'm finding similarities between the child and the cat has spots and the child has spots, and that just plays a beautiful story in my eyes. The image is beautifully printed. The detail in the cat's face is immaculate. I can't fault it at all. The child is a little bit whimsical, looking down at his cat or her cat, and she's playing with her fingers, and the cat's sort of sitting there. He does look a little bit awkward and wanting to escape, but I love the similarities between the two.
Thank you. And Adam on 73?
Yeah, that's exactly where the image sort of fell down. I got exactly the what was going for with the motif between the skin condition and thing, but the awkwardness of the cat and then those eyes that sort of piercing, almost pleading, didn't match the rest of the tones or didn't match the rest of the expression. And even that sort of harsh line right through the eye line of that cat reinforces that, I need more. I need something to explain why it's been presented like this. To come up to a silver, I said, I'm a fair way. I think there's a good concept, but I just find a real awkwardness. So please tell me.
Thank you. If we can hear from Mark on 82.
Sorry, Rox. It is an image that basically is growing quite strongly on me, and the connection between the two, that the person sees the connection to the cat more than obviously the cat does, as cats do. They have their own mind and wants to get away, but I think it's that the anonymous looking down, because we don't see the eyes, but you get the intent of the expression of the person looking down as to what this cat means to them and everything else. And obviously with that skin condition, the horizontal line going through, I think, for me, it draws me even more to the eyes and separates the image from the person to the animal. So you've got two separate things that make up this image, and that's why I went into silver. But
Briefly, Roxanne, if...
And I'll add very briefly, sorry, because I think that this image delivers something, if I can answer something that Adam said, because I was sitting on 84 and I actually think that I underscored this. There is an opportunity that not rarely comes along, but I think in pet photography is really hard to deliver upon. We're talking about a really, really strong story here. I see that, there's so many similarities between the human and the cat, yet that person walking about in society may be judged because of the condition they have with their skin, but the same thing wouldn't happen with the cat. And I think this is a really powerful statement, and that cat to me is not trying to get away. It's actually really defending its owner. And I think that this just tells that so well and needs to be rewarded appropriately.
Thank you. Colleen, back to you.
Thanks everyone for their positive comments. I couldn't have said it better than what Mark and Roxanne have backed it up for me. I agree with everything they're saying. The line in the background definitely draws me into the eyes, and while the cat does look a little bit awkward to me, I can definitely resonate with what Roxy's saying about the protectiveness. Even though the cat looks as though it wants to get away, the position that the child has, he or she is very relaxed. They're not holding on to the cat and trying to keep them there. The cat's just sort of like, yeah, okay, I could probably get out if I really wanted to and make myself a little bit more comfortable, but it's not something that is really distracting for me.
Thank you. Colleen's score of 88 is locked in. The current average score is 82. Please rescore now. And we have a silver distinction, 85. Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have a silver award, 82. And Adam, a comment from you?
Yeah, beautifully presented print tone. The warm tone reinforces that expression beautifully. Like it's not just a professional capture. It's something that really elevates it above what you would see in a standard everyday shoot. So well done.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 79, and as a single panel, it will not go for review, unfortunately. All of your scores are quite close, 377s, an 81 and an 82. And we might get one of you on the 77 to, thank you, Colleen, to, oh, sorry, yes. Could we have Kelly for some feedback for the entrant?
Great subject. I was a bit overwhelmed with the size. I think it probably, the photographer has done a really great job with just the attention to detail and all the feathers and shadows and all sorts of things. I was a bit confused by the empty single feather on the bottom, and it was just a bit tight cropping at the bottom as well. So just a couple of those things probably actually would have got it up a few more.
Okay, thank you very much. And we're going to have a judge change, or three of you actually. So Mark, Kelly and Roxanne for Cam, Hillary and Francis. Thank you, just to keep you all hopping around. And next print, please. And we have an average score of 72. And Hillary, could I get you to make a comment?
Yeah, I actually think that the horse's expression is actually quite tender in his pose with his friend, his human friend, but the way that the photographer's chosen to print, to light and print it is actually in juxtaposition to the fact that it's a nice tender pose.
Thank you very much. And next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 72. And could I get a comment from Adam of how the photographer could improve their entry?
I think what we're looking to see is either detail in the actual animal or detail at least in the eyes, and the sharpest thing is that point of that nose, and then it all disappears out from there. So really take care in that capture of getting what sharp that we want to see and getting the detail where we want to see it. It's just a bit washed out at the moment.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. The average score is 77. And Francis, something that the photographer
Yeah.
could have improved?
The expression of the horse is quite gorgeous. It's got a very sort of soft nature. I can really feel the personality of that horse. It's gorgeous. Just the way it's lit. It's a little bit too light on the horse's left side. Also on the back, it just the highlights on its how you call this harness. That's it. It's just distracting. Otherwise, it will be quite lovely.
Thank you. Next print, please. by majority, we have a score of 79. And Hillary wants to challenge, but it's actually now an automatic challenge. So just to explain, when one judge is more than 10 points away from the average, then it becomes an automatic challenge. You will all be able to speak if you want, but you'll only get one chance. So we'll start off with Hillary, who was on 89. It was by a majority score, so the average was 80. But because it's a team decision, there were 3 judges in the 70s. So you've got an 89, 84, 78, 77, 73. So it's going to be some interesting conversation. Thanks, Hillary.
Yeah, look, I gave it 89. I think it's definitely a good silver distinction because of the message. And that, you know, there are so many abandoned dogs and cats and whatever in this world. And yes, I know the story is quite literal and it is presented in an extremely literal way. But I think really with some people you need to slam it home that if you're going to get a dog, it's for life, and that, you know, yes, okay, circumstances change, but maybe choose a dog that is good with kids, you know, or something. So that's how I read it. Obviously, everyone's opinion is different. I think that the photographer's chosen 3 very sort of individual images that work well together, and it slams a message home.
Thank you, Hillary. And let's hear from Adam on 73.
I think I'll talk about the actual print first before I get to my feelings about it, because I think I look at each individual, and I still view the triptych as 3 individual prints that need to be looked at as professional prints. And I'm not even sure that they have, you know, they're very flat, they're very literal again, there's not a lot of control of the light in some of them, and they're very, well, it's the banal word really, again, it's very, you know, there's not anything that elevates any of those individual prints. Yes, as a group, they do give you that message that's absolutely rammed down your throat. There's no room, like it's almost insulting our intelligence a little bit. And that's why I just, you know, good on the author, the photographer, sorry, for coming and having a go at creating that storyline through the images, but we still need a visual, something that rewards us visually and communicates through that visual, medium, and I don't think it does that at all.
Thank you. Colleen, it's on 84.
Yes, I scored in a solid silver range. The story absolutely smacked me in the face, and I'm an animal lover, I'm a dog lover, and it really tugged on my heartstrings because I've seen this. You know, all you need to do is look up a Facebook classifieds page, and you can see thousands of dogs being given away all the time. The reason I kept it in the silver range was the colour tonality in the images. I'm finding there's a bit of a magenta. The fluorescent green in the middle image is really distracting for me. If the photographer was able to tone the colours down and make it a more uniform coloured, I definitely would have scored this higher.
Thank you. You don't get a right of reply. No, we were clear about that. So unless any other judge had anything to add to the comments, we've heard from the highest, the lowest, and closest to the average. So by majority, the previous score was 79. So having listened to the debate, judges, please rescore now. Thank you. And we have a silver award, 81. Thank you, judges. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. Scores, please. We want to save time for some great conversation about photography. Thank you. We have an average score of 80, silver award. And Cam, a comment from you?
Yeah, very humanistic series of these monkeys, just sort of basically telling us a story about the family dynamic there, which was really enjoyable.
Thank you very much. And next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 66. And could we have Francis a comment to help the photographer?
The subject is a gentle-looking soul, which probably, would photograph really well. It's just a choice of background color that don't quite work with the subject and with his color around his neck. Also, the lines in the background, sort of going out of the image, is distracting. It pulls you out of the image. Also, just give a little bit more room around his head shoulder. The crop is too tight. It's a bit of fixing up to do.
Thank you, Francis. We appreciate your helpful comments, and we're going to give you a little tea break, and Kelly's going to come back and join us. Thank you, Francis. That's wonderful. And next print, please. Thank you. We have an average score of 74. Thank you. And could we get a comment from Cam?
Yeah, I'm not even sure what animal it is we're looking at here. This detail shot of the eye. It's an intriguing image, but I think there's a few technical things that have sort of kept it in that sort of low professional practice range, and that is the blown out highlights, and we probably just need a little bit more sharpness overall.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have by majority a score of 79. And Hillary would like to challenge. So by majority, the average score was 80, but it's a team decision, so 3 people were in the 70s still. Hillary would like to challenge it though. She's on 87. You've got an 83, a 78, and 2 76s.
Oh, this definitely pulls at my heartstrings, and I think there's people that go around rescuing animals, pets, whatever, in disaster zones, and these poor dear puppies or dogs. I mean, it just and even though the family who's possibly owned this thing is no more, I'm feeling for the animals left behind, and I think that they're stuck in this chasm of destruction, and and their expression just says it all as well, and it's so sad, and it just got me, and I gave it a silver distinction.
Thank you, Adam, on 76.
Look, the immediate story is and emotion is obvious, but it's a well-found situation. But then I look at how the photographers presented this to us technically and tonally, especially, that everything, like I sort of have to struggle to find the dogs in it because the brightness in front of them, and I realise that's because the sun's coming into a darkened place. That's something the photographer could lead us into, and then I look around the frame for the other bits of brightness and other bits of texture that pull me away, and they don't really add anything to that initial story as presented here. And so I want to be sort of brought right into that story through all the elements of the photograph, not just that initial sort of figure of the pet, but I want the technical aspects to support the emotional aspects as well.
Thank you very much. And Colleen, a comment from you on 83?
I scored it in the solid silver range. I do agree with Adam about the dogs being lost a little bit in the brightness of the image, but I'm actually enjoying that. When I first turned around and I saw that there was a lot of destruction with the building, and then we discovered that there's dogs, and when you come in closer you can see the sadness of the dogs. You've got these beautiful little highlights in their eyes. I think for me, what might improve it or have me bring it up is if the image was actually cropped down to just where the ceiling would have been in this room and the wall. It would have contained the image a lot more, and you would have lost a little bit of the mystery about, well, what are we exactly looking at until you find the dogs. It compounds home exactly what this image is all about, is that you've still got all the destruction in the room, you've still got the light, you've still got the dogs, but it would bring it a little bit more home for me if it was cropped in just a little bit tighter.
Thank you. Back to you, Hilary.
I would have to disagree, because I think the fact that the photographer's left in that bit shows the scale of destruction, and the fact that these animals are small, tiny wee creatures in part of this huge thing that's happened. And I like the fact that you have to actually really look to actually see. It's a bit of a Where's Wally thing, and you can see that it's possibly Nepal or somewhere that's had the earthquake. And so I think the narrative, I know I should say that word, the story is really strong. It's really sad. It's heartbreaking, and deserves a silver distinction.
Thank you. The current majority score was 79. So judges, Hilary's score of 87 is locked in. Please rescore now. Thank you. And we have a silver award, 82. Thank you. Next print, please. We have an average score of 72. And Kelly, could you give us some feedback for the entrant to help them?
Yeah, I think silhouettes, just working a little bit more with that shape. Just can't quite see the connection between the owner and the horse, and just the cutting off from the right-hand side just really needed to have a little bit more going on there just to lift it.
Thank you. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. The average score is 73. And could we please have a comment from Adam?
Yeah, look, it's a nice attempt at that sort of running towards the thing. It's not quite as crisp as I want it to be, and the giveaway is in the grass. You can see that focal line very clearly in the grass and where it is in position to the rest of the horse. So really keep an eye on that to really emphasise that sharpness, the crispness that will bring it up again.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you. We have a silver award at 82. And a comment from Kelly.
Beautiful tones. Oh my gosh, it's really, really lovely. I just think the expression, to get it up to a little bit higher, I think just the little eyes on the left dog image was just a little bit lost. I think there's much more going on in the middle image and the one on the right. So just reconsider placement perhaps, but the tonality through it's really, really beautiful and printed really well.
Thank you very much. Next print, please. Thank you, judges. We have an average score of 79, and as your scores in this case are quite close together, it will be its final score as a single room category. And we're looking for a comment from Adam. Thank you.
Kudos to the photographer. The sharpness is there right through all 4 frames. Have again the multiple image. I wonder if some of the images are kind of redundant when we're actually not shown the point of action. We don't get to see where the dog actually grabs that ball, and that's kind of what we're given all the backstory, but not the reward. So that's what might bring it up to the next level.
Thank you. Other judges are nodding. Thank you very much. Thank you, judges. That is the last of that category. And we are about to start the portrait category. So if you'd like to just stand up, turn around a couple of times, have a stretch, do the pokey pokey. And thank you so much to Brilliant Prints for sponsoring this category. We appreciate your support. And if you're a portrait judge, just have a quick break for 2 minutes and come straight back in.